Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Why, hello everyone. I am Katie Petrick, joined by that man, the author, David Fiorazzo. In my hands, I have for you. I can't show, but I can quick show the brand new, just about to be released.
Yes.
Almost ready for consumption.
Where did you get that?
I know someone. Assault on the Image of God by our very own David Fiorazzo.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
And friends, this is just my author copy. That's why it's got the line through it that says not for resale. But you can order this on Amazon now.
Ooh.
The ebook, let me clarify. The ebook is available for pre-order. It'll be out on November 29. The paperback will be released December 1st, so we're just a couple weeks away. But Assault on the Image of God, you can pre-order that. Thank you for the plug.
No problem. You know, my birthday is in early December, David. So if you're looking for
I just
gift
might have a gift ready for you
me.
in early December.
Oh, speaking on the topic of gifts, what David brings to us every day on Worldview Matters is a gift. What is it that you spoke about today, David?
It's a gift to the world. Yeah, John Haller was my guest, and boy, did we talk about just a lot of things going on in the world regarding the technology. We talked about artificial intelligence and, man, the globalist push for this. Some just creepy stuff that just a few years ago we thought was sci-fi and might never happen, but that's worldviewmatters.tv. You can subscribe, get the once a week email on Fridays. It's the weekly rundown, and we just appreciate your sharing. Your support is what is getting the show out there. So thank you guys.
Awesome.
We got a pretty cool, educated audience.
Pretty cool. They're hip.
We can take that two different ways: a pretty cool, educated audience, and a pretty cool, educated audience.
It's all about matter of commas and such. All right. Well, just a quick reminder that if you enjoy watching videos that are not actually censored, so you're getting actually what's happening, please do follow us on our Rumble channel. Simply go to rumble.com/FreedomProject and give a little follow. Now, that favorite time of the week when we get a story about my favorite lady who is awful for education. Of course, I am talking about the one, the only, Randi Weingarten.
Yes.
She is the infamous Teachers Union president who basically just got wrecked after she admitted that homeschooling is surging. I'm like, oh, oops, Randi, what did you do?
This is astounding to me, Katie Petrick, because one would think, wouldn't one?
Stop right there.
One would think that people would have caught on long ago that homeschooling is booming, especially since the COVID-19, COVID-20, COVID-21, COVID-22, COVID-23, especially since the shutdowns and everything and all that did with education. But so here's the latest. Critics are mocking her, Randi Weingarten, the union president, about her post about causes. You guys are going to love this. Causes of homeschooling spiking. And a lot of people are saying, like you and I, Katie, Randi, it's you. It's you and the radicalized leftist teachers unions and what you're pouring into the classroom. Your quick take before we dive into the article?
Basically, Randi, you did not listen to Taylor Swift. Is it Taylor Swift?
What did she say?
Maybe it's not Taylor Swift. I'm not cool. But I'm the problem. It's me. What's that song? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's hip happening. It's all like, I'm the problem, it's me. I don't know if is it Taylor Swift, maybe. I don't know. Either way, Randi, you are the problem. It's you. That's all you have to say. Look in a mirror, Randi. Look in a mirror.
Okay, so she shared an article on Twitter X detailing how the spike in homeschooling that occurred during the pandemic wasn't a flash in the pan. And we know that there was already a movement, almost, you might want to call it an exodus from the public schools even BC, before COVID. But Randi Weingarten made the mistake of captioning the post, "What's behind the increase in homeschooling?" I mean, she forgot the question mark there. But
hey, she's only an educator. Yeah. Don't worry.
Well, you got to use that word lightly anymore, educator. Prompting parents, conservatives, and other critics of the unions, the radicalized unions initiatives, to read it as a question and provide their own answer. So they chimed in, and various comments indicated the leftist indoctrination that can drive people to homeschool. But Katie, in the past, they just say, okay, it's COVID is the problem. And even, I don't know what they said before that, as far as
it's
the
all the
declining test scores and grades.
Well, right before that they were, and they continue to do school shootings are the problem, which...
Oh, that's a problem too?
I mean,
is that what
we're not
Randy
trying to
said?
downgrade the fact that we've had school shootings, but we're blaming everything and anything except for you're the problem. It's you, Randy, and your teachers' unions. You're basically forcing the teachers' unions down the throats of the teachers. And can I just talk about quickly the image that they used with that doormat? Because someone who is a doormat basically is like, you allow other people to dominate you. You allow them to like treat you in such a way that just like have people literally walk all over you, right? That's the whole point of a doormat.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the teachers' unions do. They walk all over the parents. They walk all over the students. They walk all over educators who actually just want to educate and not have to deal with the nonsense that is what the teachers' unions, Randy and company, are doing. So it's just, it's ironic, don't you think?
Yeah, let's share a few numbers here, friends. Homeschooling jumped 51% over the past 6 years. And this also found that for every 10 students in public schools during 2021 and 2022, across 390 districts, for every 10, there was one homeschooled child. Now, there's an estimated 1.9 million this is estimated 2.7 million homeschooled students in the U.S., and it should be a lot higher, as we know, what we've been talking about through the years. But that is likely going to keep growing, and it doesn't seem like the unions, the teachers, they're not in touch with the reasons why. Obviously, looking at some of this and what they're thinking,
I mean,
is the cause.
Randy had her comments to say. She, of course, had to point out the fact that, I see that the reply guys are out in force attacking this tweet. I can't believe she just gendered them. Guy, how do you know, Randy, with your Ukraine and your U.S. flag and your, bicep curl? Do you do bicep curls? All of that. Anyway.
Yeah, Black Power?
The rest of her, all of the symbols, her emojis she has. Back to her response. She says, look at the data. If we dealt with gun violence, if we had robust anti-bullying programs, do we not? Isn't that not all they do now? And provided more services for special needs students, many of these parents wouldn't feel compelled to homeschool. Oh, really? Oh, really? That's the reason they homeschool. That's it? That's all? Just those three issues?
So, and there's more than that, but show the responses to Randy. Look, what is that?
The genderbread.
The genderbread person. What does that have to do with education? Oh, it's some curriculum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Colin Wright, someone on the Twitter or the X,
Twitter X,
wrote, identified a suspect. Although according to them, suspects should be able to identify themselves. Ooh, deep burn. And he's got the image of the genderbread person. Burn.
Oh, I love this one.
Young Americans for Liberty said homeschooling is now the fastest growing form of education in the U.S. Randy still doesn't realize she is one of the greatest homeschool advocates in American history. Honestly, we should be giving her an award.
Yeah, I'm not sure we could use the word advocate. It should be causes. She's one of the greatest homeschool causes. Not advocates. There's Moms for Liberty. They say parents learned during COVID that they often can't trust schools to teach children effectively or respect their fundamental parental rights. You closed schools and left many parents with no other options. Now they know they can handle homeschooling. We should be thanking you. Moms for Liberty.
There you go. And was it Moms for Liberty who had that whole LeVar Burton thing just come out? Reading Rainbow? And he's all like, I'm going to beat up Moms for Liberty. LeVar Burton probably has, I'm sure we can go out. Someone dig this up. There's probably a photo out there of Randy and LeVar Burton shoulder to shoulder promoting public school system. And the man just wants to beat up the people of Moms for Liberty. Anyway, so, these are all just great points. And thank you, Randy, for continuing to have a reason for David and I to be here.
And the lack of introspection and self-awareness based on what they're doing is just astounding. The ignorance on behalf of the teachers' unions. And the irony, though, employees at the nation's largest teachers' union vote to strike after demanding they receive the same benefits similar to the ones they advocate for teachers to receive. We're talking about that next.
In the name of equity, we must also mock the largest teachers union in the nation. So we just had the second largest with Randi Weingarten at the helm. That's, of course, the American Federation of Teachers. But now let's mock also the largest teachers union, which is the National Education Association. And that's led by the Becky Pringle. Always love her name. Becky Pringle is the president there.
Have you ever seen any of her speeches? I know you have, Katie, but friends, if you haven't seen any of her speeches, yikes, it's just really scary. There's something driving her, and you know what I'm talking about, so go ahead.
All right. Well, according to this story, they represent, like, they're the head of the teachers union, right? Becky is, and there's a staff representing this teachers union, and that teachers union's whole purpose is basically to make posters and help out other smaller teachers unions at smaller locales or states to protest on behalf of the teachers union. Well, now it's gotten turned on themselves, where the actual staff of the National Education Association voted to strike. Everyone's just voting to strike on strike, right?
They must want more money or something.
I mean, no, they just don't want to be doormats. If we go back to our last story, they don't want to be doormats to Becky Pringle and the like. So let's get this straight. This is the staff of the union now striking when they're usually the ones who are calling for the strikes for the teachers. And oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. The union's 48 employees are demanding that the NEA provide its staff with benefits similar to those it advocated for teachers to get. So they're out there like advocating for all these teachers, and now they're like, wait, I'm going to advocate for myself.
Yeah, now that we got that for them,
give it to me. I want it too.
I want
so the NEA, as we know, or maybe you don't know, represents about 3 million educational professionals. So it's not, they are the largest teachers union, right? They're not small potatoes out here. And
you have to put education in air quotes, though.
It is national
education. Professionals.
Yes. According to this, they have supported, and we know this, multiple strikes in recent years that have allowed educators to secure more competitive salaries and other benefits through the contract bargaining. Woo! But the employees at the NEA claim that the union's wages have not kept up with the inflation. Welcome to the club.
Yeah,
here, we have
America.
A seat for you if you would like to sit next to us at the lunch table where we are all suffering the effects of the inflation.
Bidenflation.
I would say I would serve you food, but I have no food to serve because of the inflation. So here's my little cup of Joe. Get it, cup of Joe.
So now,
Joe.
So let me understand something. So they're striking not for money?
It's yes.
Money and other things,
and
right?
the benefits.
So where do they get
the bennies?
The benefits. All right, the benefits. That's just the stroke of a pen from somebody, I guess. But the federal money, that comes from us, right? The taxpayers?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what's fascinating about this is the most recent thing that has been happening. First off, they've not had an actual contract since May. And we're coming up on the deadline, of course. They needed to actually secure some sort of a contract. And if they didn't, then they were going to strike at midnight. And then, poof, no one has even talked about it. Did they actually go on strike? There's no updates about this. Fascinating to me. But they most recently, and maybe you've heard of this, we talked about it, how in Portland, Oregon, which is backed by the NEA, their big union, there are 4,500 teachers in Portland who went on strike after failed months of negotiation. Just for months, same kind of thing, right? And so Portland Public Schools actually have been, like, this is the biggest contract the NEA is kind of working on. So I think they're like looking at it for themselves as well. But what fascinates me about this entire thing is when they talk about money, because we always are told, there's no money, David. We need more money.
Not enough.
There's not enough money.
Not enough
money. However, because the Portland Public Schools submitted a contract out to the teachers, and the Portland Association of Teachers, again, backed by the NEA, they said, no, we're not doing it. It's not good enough. Here's where it's interesting. According to the Portland Association of Teachers. So that union president actually said, we know that there is money. There is $105 million in their general fund. There's over $20 million coming in each year, according to the Oregon Department of Education, that they did not project was going to come in. So they are all demanding that money goes to them, the teachers.
So wait a minute.
Not to the children, but to the teachers.
Help me understand. They've got a surplus of $105 million in some general fund. And somehow, thank you, federal government and American taxpayers, there's over $20 million coming in every year that they didn't project was going to come in. Where did that money come from?
And this is just according to, this is just an isolated incident here in Portland. This isn't very specific. So this is an instance where the teachers union and the general public are on the same page of there is plenty of money. However, the teachers union is saying, give us the money. And the general public's like, can I just keep my money? Like that's where we go back to our corners. So anyway, it's a dog-eat-dog world in case you haven't been living around here. But still to come, we have a teachers conference that just was held in Ohio, the Columbus area. And it offered dozens of talks on, how to inspire activism and teach critical race theory in the classroom. I bet it was enlightening. We're going to talk about it next.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
All right, it's conference time, and we're going to head to Columbus, Ohio, where the National Council of Teachers of English had a conference, convention, whatever you want to call it. Of course, a bunch of English teachers getting together. I'm sure it was delightful. The conference itself was called Conexiones. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's Spanish.
It is Spanish for connections. But don't worry, this is an English convention. That makes perfect sense here.
Conexiones.
Conexiones. Is that how you would say it?
I think so.
2023. And of course, it included a heavy dose of woke. Now,
I'm confused already.
Of course.
Teachers of English and
in the
Conexiones.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
That's all you need to know, how it makes perfect sense for the wokeness that's about to be. All right, David.
Yes.
I know you missed the conference and you wanted to attend, but for those of you out there, let's just imagine all together. You could have attended. From Virginia Woolf to Lil Wayne. Using music to bridge connections and create community in the English composition classroom. Before you decided to go to a session about learning for critical consciousness. And now after you eat the lunch, because you got to have a couple sessions and then a lunch. Mm-hmm. Now, after you eat the lunch with a keynote speaker who is actually drier than the Beyond Meat tofu vegan salad that they served you, because of course that's what they would serve you at something like this, you're going to head over to the session on the nonfiction books to inspire activism and advocacy in the classroom. And then, of course, you will end the afternoon learning how you can be using critical race theory to deconstruct the historical context in a short story, learning how to use CRT to deepen our teaching of literature. And David, what do I always say about titles of things? The longer they are, the less sense it makes.
The more of a waste it is.
Using critical race theory to deconstruct the historical context in a short story, learning how to use CRT to deepen our teaching of literature.
That's the title?
That's the whole title. And maybe there was even another subline, but that's the title I'm giving you. Now, of course, in that one, it has an 80-word title. I didn't count, but I think it's about 80 words. It said that this presentation is a literary analysis of a short story using critical race theory as an instructive lens. The idea is to offer teachers another concept of applying a critical race theory or a critical theory to their teaching repertoire while showing how CRT can help our way of thinking and teaching literature. Blah, 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 critical race theory, blah, blah, woke. There, I summed it up for you. I know you missed the conference, so...
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. America is systemically racist?
Blah, 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 yes.
Blah, 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 blah.
That about sums it up for you.
CRT, DEI, die. Yeah, critical race theory. And what was that? I kind of was confused about the Lil Wayne.
Do you know who Lil Wayne is?
Well, from what I've read about
Hip-hop-
him, he's
hip-hop-
vulgar. He's a vulgar hip-hop
So
artist.
Virginia Woolf all the way to Lil Wayne. Because you got to be hip happening for the kiddos. I'm surprised. I'm sure there probably was one called T-Swizzle, T-Swift, Taylor Swift, whatever the name she's going by these days. I don't know.
T-Swizzle, did you just make that up?
No, I think people have said that.
Seriously?
Or I'm cool. I'm hip happening. All right. Well, that's about all. That's all I want to say on that. But I have a question for you, public. Should babies be allowed in the workplace? There are some new findings that say it's one of the perks for young mothers and fathers who are looking like that's what they're looking for from their employers. So we're going to talk about it after a quick snack and a little nappy nap. Stay with us.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the FreedomProject Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
Why not? Why not allow kids, babies, young ones into the work environment, into the workplace? There are pros and there are cons, and I can't wait to get Katie's take on it. But yeah, there's the headline right there. Should babies and kids be allowed? Should they? Should they be allowed in the workplace? And one company, this one's in San Diego, says absolutely yes. We'll come back and we'll talk about it after this video.
This is Mason Barnes. He is 14 months old on Wednesday, and he loves coming here to the office.
Jennifer Barnes is the CEO of Optima Office, a company that provides accounting and HR services.
Why do you have this policy in place here at your company to allow babies to come to work?
We consider ourselves a very flexible company in general, and being able to, if needed, to bring your children to the office is just something that I think is important.
Were you nervous at all about bringing him in, like in terms of like him crying?
I think as a first-time parent, you never know what to expect.
Bringing your baby to work isn't a new concept. Some studies show it became more popular after the pandemic. According to the Parenting in the Workplace Institute, as of 2021, there were more than 200 companies in the U.S. that allow babies at work, including some government agencies.
I think it's an interesting idea, but I think that there's a lot of pros and cons.
Beth Chung is a professor at the Fowler School of Management at SDSU. She specializes in workplace issues.
I think companies are becoming more creative. As we know, with some of the major companies, they have sleep pods at work, and they have dry cleaning and dentists. So I think companies are becoming more creative. It's whether this particular program is the right fit for them.
Katie Patrick, what is a sleep pod?
It's a place you can sleep.
Okay.
You can go take a little cat nap.
Like a little cubby, you can put a
Little
sleeping
cubby, you
bag
can
down.
go, yep. Mhm.
I noticed that she had her own office, the CEO.
Yes.
Also, you pointed out that the baby had something. What do they call the things they suck on?
A nook.
Yeah.
Some people they have special names. But
Special
nook.
names, different names. And so what are your thoughts, young mom?
Oh, thank you. I'm so young. It would never work for me. It would not work for me because my kids are wild children. But it did say in the article, mostly it's like only up until the age of when the baby then almost basically becomes a toddler, when they can walk, because then it gets wild. But during the first 12, 15, 20 weeks, it might extend the ability for moms to return to the workplace, because a baby in the first couple weeks does nothing but just sleep, right? A baby doesn't do much. And if you have your own office, then maybe yes, it would work. But if you're next to a cubicle with someone else, I'm very conscious of the people around me. I would not do that to someone else and risk my kid crying and interrupting everyone else's work.
Because that happens.
It happens, yeah.
No
so I'm not
fault
going
of
to but I'm also not going to stick my kid in front of a screen so that they can sit and watch the computer screen while I work. Like, that's also not what the intent is. So there again, as that professor said, pros and cons. As you said, pros and cons.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they quoted me. We did a story about a week or two ago on young children in restaurants, and that
yeah.
restaurant down south that would charge an extra fee
yep.
if the kids were misbehaving.
So then,
That was
how does
interesting.
that work? Let's tie that in there. But it is. If the company allows it, and that's how the company is, then the company, it's their prerogative. But now the government, they said, so now we're paying for that to happen. So we'll see. Whatever. Either way, for you out there right now, we want to know your thoughts. Let us know. And also, don't forget that you can catch Educated on the go by subscribing on your favorite audio podcast platform. And obviously, don't forget to download the Freedom Project, a media app. Now, for David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.